Attention, attention, please. You in the back, pay attention. It is snippet time. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sobriety Snippets for 40 plus ambitious women, helping you drop the wine and pick up the good life. I'm Becca Jacobson, and this is what we call a snippet. If you're new in Snippet Land, welcome. I'm so glad you found us because this is the place to be for 40 plus women who are putting down the booze. Let's get started. Today, now, listen, I'm going to say this. Those of you who've been here a while, don't go away. Don't go running away when I say this, but here we go. I've talked a lot in the past about surface dwelling. Now, hold on. Bear with me, gals. And we are going to talk about it a little bit more today, but from a completely different angle. And if you're thinking, didn't she talk about that? Yes, but listen, this is so important. I have a whole new angle on it. I want you to hear it. It's so important. What is surface dwelling? Well, I don't know if anyone else calls it that, but that's what I call it. It is just scrolling around, gathering information from all different sources and putting none of it into practice. It's just reading, listening, doing, hearing, but never actually practicing any one thing long enough to get the result. So living on the surface. Now, I won't go on and on. I'm sure you can understand why that's important, but here's something I suspect you may not know. Here's something new. I looked around and I found this idea in 3 of the major spiritual teachings of the world: the Christian Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hindu Bible, and the Buddhist teachings. I'm not kidding, gals. So this is what we're going to look at today. In the Bible, the Christian Bible, in James chapter 1, verse 22, he says, you ready? Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Is that surface dwelling or is that surface dwelling? It's surface dwelling, isn't it? Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. So James is saying, if you're just listening to the word, listening, but not doing it, not actually taking any action, you're deceiving yourself. Gals, maybe one of the reasons I go on about this is it was so me. I was a loudmouth know-it-all, but I could talk the talk, but I didn't do the do. I mean, I didn't walk the walk. I didn't do the do. You get the point. Seriously. So we want to be doers of the word, not hearers only, because we'll be deceiving ourselves. Now let's go over to the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu Holy Bible. Well, lo and behold, I found it in chapter 3, verse 7. Here it is. But those who control the mind and senses, engage in karma yoga, with the organs of action without attachment, they are superior. The Gita and Hinduism, what do they teach? One of the central teachings is karma yoga. Well, karma yoga is the yoga of action. This is actually finding God through action, taking action, working, whatever action you're doing, and then you dedicate that action to God, right? But it's certainly not just hearing the word. It's actually using the organs of action without attachment. According to chapter 3, verse 7, those who do that are superior. And then another one, also in chapter 3, verses 21 and 22, we get this in the Gita. Whatever a great man does, others will follow. Whatever standards he sets by his actions, the world pursues. Not standards he set by his words, but by his actions. So it's very important to be taking action. And then Buddhism, I found it in the Dhammapada, chapters 19 and 20, quote, a man may recite much of the texts, but if he does not act accordingly, he is like a cowherd who counts the cows of others. He has no share in the fruits of the holy life. A man may recite only a little, but if he lives the life in accordance with the Dharma, then he is a follower of Dharma. That's almost word for word parallel to James chapter 1, verse 22. Gals, I really like the Buddhist one, and the reason is because he says in the second sentence, a man may recite only a little, But if he lives the life in accordance with the Dharma, then he's a follower of Dharma. Only a little. That's the part I wanted to emphasize. We don't need all this information that we're getting these days. All of us live in information overload. And we get kind of addicted to it. I'm going to find out more about this, more about that, more about this. But how much of it do we actually practice? I suggest, when I talk about surface dwelling, what I'm suggesting is intentionally limiting the information you're willing to allow into your mind so you can settle into something long enough to incorporate it into your life and find the results of that thing. Right now, I refuse to read any new books. And I'm a reader, right? I'm a former English professor. I've got several that are sort of on over there. I have a couple of friends, people have suggested books. I see them, but I refuse right now to buy a new book because I have so many unbelievably powerful books. I've read them all or listened to them all on one or the other, but I know I could feel myself starting to surface dwell and just sort of eating up more and more and more information. Tell me more about, that's it. What about this guy? I'll try this author. What does that author say about it? And I suddenly went, hold on a minute, Becca. Something's smelling off here. You're starting to surface dwell. Well, I mean, come on. Hello, I'm human. I never said I was perfect. And so right now I put an amnesty on buying any new books. I'm just not doing it. Instead, I'm going back and rereading and re-listening to some of the ones. It's amazing what's happening. I'm like, oh my God, I totally missed that the first time. I missed that the first time. And I'm also not allowing myself to listen to a whole bunch of, I'm just focusing right now on one author. I think every book this author ever wrote. And I just keep rereading and re-listening to his books because there's so much in there that it's actually life-changing. And I'm now starting to incorporate the teachings like I never did before. So I so strongly recommend this. Just shut down the information. Choose something that interests you and decide, I'm going to find out more about this. How? By doing it. So choose an author. Try to avoid a topic with like 10 different authors on the subject. It's too broad. Try and stay focused as much as you can. But I mean, enough already, right? We need to be doers, not hearers only. As the Buddha says, he lives a life in accordance with the Dharma when he is the follower of Dharma. And as the Gita says, engage in karma yoga, which is selfless action, with the organs of action. In other words, not just by talking about it, okay? So I hope that one more time, surface dwelling, big no-no. I want to see you experiencing the results that are possible with the information we have at our fingertips because it's so rewarding. That's why I keep going on about it, because it is so rewarding. Oh my God, there's nothing like it. And if what you're trying to accomplish is giving up alcohol, then focus on that. Choose a path to sobriety, put away the other ones, and grab it and ride it until you get the success you want. So if you're like, I don't know how to quit drinking, I'm listening to 50 different podcasts, I've got Quit Lit books on the go, I've subscribed to this one and this social media, I'm getting all these memes, I'm getting reels, I'm getting tweets, whatever, you're in overload. You're in overload information on how to quit drinking. Now you've looked at all that, have you paid attention? Which one appeals to you the most? Choose one that you think, well, I like this person's teaching. The person appeals to me. I trust this person. I'm going to focus in on this path because there are different paths to sobriety. But I will tell you this, there aren't that many aimed just at us, 40 plus professional women. There are very few, and that's why I'm here. That's why I created this, for us and us alone. So I would argue, quite unapologetically, I will say, that if you're a 40 plus woman, this is probably the best path for you, and you're hearing my voice. But nevertheless, the point I really want to make is choose a path and then just commit yourself to it. Say, okay, this is my path. I've seen 5, 6, 7, 10 other paths. That doesn't appeal to me, not into that. I'm going to take this path. And even when it gets difficult or something comes up you might disagree with or it's uncomfortable, that's not the time to bail and say, well, I tried that path. That's not my path. Let me go try a different path. It wasn't my fault. It was the path's fault. No, you've committed. Okay? Because every path is going to have bumps in the road. If you jump out every time you hit a bump, you're back on the surface. So choose that path, babe. Grab onto it and ride it to freedom. That is what I want for you. And I have an announcement to make. You'd think I would have said this earlier. Did you know that as far as I can tell, this is my 500th snippet? 500 times I've turned on this microphone for 10 to 15 minutes and babbled at you and said to you, come on, you can do it. Oh my God, here it is. Come and get it. 500 times. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 500 more. My husband's like, what the hell do you talk about? Because no, he doesn't even bother listening. I don't blame him. He hears enough of me already. But yeah, gals, in celebration of 500 episodes, I want to offer you, I'm opening up the Sacred Mirror today, which is a very popular, if you haven't heard of it, listen up. The Sacred Mirror is an online form that comes only to me. It's 100% private. I ask you 3 questions, very easy ones. When you answer those questions, you essentially give me a small piece of your story. You tell me what's going on for you personally. I read them, only me. Then I turn on this microphone and I send you back a 3 to 5 minute voice message, personalized to you. I use your name. I read your answers. I'm talking just to you. That's the Sacred Mirror. It is not for the purpose of advice giving. It is not for the purpose of selling coaching. I hope you heard that. It is for the purpose of for you to hear reflected back to you from an objective second person what they're hearing you saying. And it doesn't take much for someone else to see something that you are missing. So what you'll get from me is a true reflection. You'll get some truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. I'm kind, I'm compassionate, I'm loving, I love you. I don't want to hurt you, but I am willing to tell you what I see. So if you would like to experience that, now for those of you that aren't running screaming for the hills, those of you who are still like listening, the link is in the show notes. In celebration of our 500 episodes, I'm going to keep the Sacred Mirror open for a little while. As you can imagine, what happens is I get very busy doing reflections and I have other things to do as well. So I limit the number of sacred reflections I can do, but right now the door's open. And if you're ready to stop surface dwelling, come on into the Sacred Mirror, take a plunge, stick your toe in, and let's make it happen. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.